What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald Cabang from wagertalk.com and themoneyballer.com. Yesterday, solid day overall. Through the WNBA plays that we talked about, they all hit. We got the storm in the first half. We had the storm first half under. I think we also had the over in the Wings game, and then in the middle game it was the team total over on the Fever side. So WNBA went well. There's a lot of stuff that we talked about in the MLB. I didn't bet all of them, so I'm not really sure how all the plays went yesterday, but hopefully those did okay. With WNBA back, that's going to be my primary focus once again. So we'll see. See my volume kind of decrease in the MLB and really focus in on the W again. So yeah, yesterday, solid day overall in the W's. And today we have early games. I think we have games that pop off in a couple hours here. Uh, what's the first game starts at I think 11. Yeah, a couple hours here. So yeah, we'll get started with the W. Hopefully everyone else did well yesterday, and we do well today. So, uh, oh damn, appreciate that, GB. All right, let's go to the W. I'll share my screen and we'll go through it like usual. All right, so we have the moneyballer.com. We have the links and the. Do I have the right date? 17. Yeah. Links and the Mystics today. Mystics around +6 at home here. The total 157. I think that those numbers actually changed a little bit. Let me just check. Yeah, so it's down to 4 actually. Washington +4, +4.5, 5.5. It's all over the place right now for this line for Washington. So a lot of money coming in on them. Total has gone up to 158, 157.5. You can see the opening numbers here. So these numbers have shifted a lot. I think I think it's based on results from the previous game here. We have our model projections. We have the baller systems here, double digit in season revenge. Obviously, the Mystics failed to cover a couple of days ago. Crazy stuff. Where I think they were like tied in the fourth quarter with like 5 minutes left, and then ended up kind of folding after that. So they ended up not even covering that +9 after that. If we look at the schedule, neither of the teams are playing in the next couple of days, so they have some extra rest going into the next games. Um, this is the second matchup. Obviously, talked about the game a couple of days ago, and then prior to that, in July, Washington lost by 7 there. They did cover that spread, and now we're seeing a spread that's even lower today. If we look at the stats here, I mean, offensive rating for both teams towards the middle of the pack. Obviously, Lynx, one of the better defensive teams in the league. And then we talked about the other day with the return of Shakira Austin and Brittany Sykes, this defensive rating is going to improve. And I think the offensive rating should improve as well, in my opinion. Maybe get to the free throw line a bit more with their players back too. The problem the other day too is Shakira Austin and Brittany Sykes was on a minutes restriction. I think both were around the 20-minute mark. Um, yeah, 20 minute, 22-minute mark right there. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they pull the minutes restriction from their star players. From scoring perspective, you can see here, middle of the pack, 7th and 9th. This should go up a little bit more, in my opinion. I think Lynx, facing the Lynx, you're going to struggle to score regardless, just because of their defense overall. Um, Things that should improve for the Mystics offensively. I think paint attempts. Shakira Austin is one of the more athletic bigs in the league. Offensive rebound should improve. Um, their defensive rebounding is already pretty solid, so that should improve as well. Turnover rate should improve with Brittany Sykes handling the ball there. I think Von Lu, if I'm not mistaken, she came into the game the other day, flying in over from overseas that morning. So I'm assuming she's going to have more of a role this game as well. So that should improve the offense. But when she's in, the defense kind of struggles. So there's a counter to that with her coming off of the bench. 3-point shooting, Lynx continue to be a great 3-point shooting team. I'm not sure what kind of effect this is gonna affect on the Washington corner three or above the break three defense. Which one it would affect more? But I'm assuming it would be the above the break 3-point with Brittany Sykes back and her length on the court from for the wings to defend the wings. From a trend perspective, we go here straight up 19-8, 6-20 for them. Home dog here. You see that first half is still one of the more dominant first half teams in the league. 8-3 straight up, but only 2-9 on the full game. We did hit that Mystics first half the other game. Also to the under in the first half too. So that one went well. So Mystics first half against the spread 18-6-2 as home dogs 8-2-1. Over unders on the full game as road favorites here for the Lynx 4-1 to the under there. Mystics team total first half 8-2-1 to the over, and then opponents limiting opponents here 18-8-1 to the under in the first half as road favorites 4-1 for their opponents to the under. Mystics first half 17-7-2 opponents team total under, and then home dogs opponents are just 8-1-2 to their team total under. So both teams really limiting opponents in this spot. I think with this being a back-to-back and then switching sort of sites here, it's an interesting take. So if we look at, let's just go to Killer Sports here. So we go to Lynx, and then we go this season facing the same opponent. This is only the second time, and this was, I think, like towards the beginning of the season here, maybe the second game of the season. I think they started off with back-to-backs with the Storm, or might have been the first three games, but they won that game. They did go into OT, double OT to get over the total, but regulation did stay under. And then if you go to the Mystic side, only one game. So and they won that one. They went over in that one. So it's really tough to see how these teams do and adjust in back-to-back games against the same opponent with only one game sample size, and both teams winning ended up winning. And also that game against the Storm, I don't think anyone really knew how good the Lynx were at that time. So that line today would be totally different than what it was at that time. I stayed away from this game, but if I was to bet this, I think it would be a first half under. I think since they just played each other, they should know they should have some adjustments coming out of the gate, and that should keep these teams from scoring efficiently. From a side perspective, as much as I want to get back on the Mystics first half, it's really tough on a back-to-back situation, facing the same teams back-to-back and then expecting the same result. So yeah, so that would be my lean on this one, would be the first half under. Let's move on to the next game here. I forgot the banner again. Liberty Aces. All right, so we got the Liberty at the Aces. This one here is pretty interesting too. So Liberty, this is their second game back from the break. So a lot of their players have had a chance to play a game. They beat the Sky the other day. Then the Aces, they have a lot of advantages as far as like rest, revenge, and all that stuff too. But this is their first game coming back from Paris. We got a couple baller systems on them right here. So I'm looking at this right here. Liberty 103. They scored 103 against the Sparks. They won by almost 40 points there. And then you look at the Aces here. They didn't. I think defensively they were pretty solid. Prior to the break, but you can see there's some high scoring games here for the most part. You can see the totals 180, 170, all these right here. They were sort of a mixed bag because their offense was pretty solid, but they didn't really need to push further with them winning by so much by margin. So it's really hard to take into account some of these games with Chelsea Gray. But we can dive into it and see what happens. First thing I wanted to bring up though, we go. I think it was P margin greater than or equal to 30, and then they're the road dog. Right. So this is the first instance so far this year, but if we go back and just say historically, you can see here 8-7, 7-8. There is a trend towards the under in this spot 9-6 because I wanted to see, after a big huge win, how do teams do who end up being in a road dog situation. Nothing significant there. What if we do points greater than or equal to 100 and then a road dog? So more sample size here. 45, 30, and 2, 41 and 36 on the over under. So definitely points towards the Liberty side here as road dogs. Like there shouldn't be road dogs at all. It's happened 3 times so far this year. Two and one ATS. All games went to the over though. I'm assuming this one went over. The Lynx Suns went over in OT though. All right, so that's some insights on what happens with road dogs here after they win by a huge margin or they score 100 points. All right, so let's go back to the historic matchup here. So the Liberty did beat the Aces in Las Vegas. They're in Las Vegas again. You can see the line and the total pretty similar to what it was a couple months ago. The interesting thing is I believe Benajelani is still out, so that's one thing to take into account. And one thing I want to bring up is this on-off court here. If we go to the Liberty, this is one thing that I want to mention with Benajelani. I think a lot of people really respect her defense and thinks that she only brings defense to the table. Look at this on-court offensive rating. She's actually number one. I mean, outside of Jalen Sherrod, who only played 8 minutes, she has the highest offensive rating on the team when on the court. So that's one thing that I really wanted to mention with this. But with Benajelani missing, and then also the defense, you could see here her defense is really solid. She's still they do decrease in defensive rating, or their defensive rating gets worse when she is off the court. So that stays true, but I think a lot of people don't respect her offense enough. So I wanted to show that. So let's look at the stats here, and let's only look at last 10 because we know the Aces brought back Chelsea Gray. All right, so if you look at the last 10 games here, Liberty top 3 in offensive rating, number 1 in defensive rating. We see the Aces here, second in offensive rating, 4th in defensive rating. Their pace is up. We look at some of these efficiency numbers, both doing really well right there. The Aces do get to the free throw line a little bit more, but both really limiting opponents' free throws. And then if we look at offensive rebounds, both kind of struggling at that aspect. Turnovers, they take care of the ball. They don't really turn the ball over, force turnovers at a high rate, but a little bit more for the Liberty than the Aces. Scoring perspective, this is where this is a part where I think that there's opportunity for the Liberty because you can see here second chance points allowed right there, 11th in the league. I know that the Liberty don't have a lot of second chance points here, but this is opportunity for them to take advantage of it, in my opinion. If we go to inside the arc, both doing really well in the paint, both defending in the paint. Mid-range, the same thing here, both towards the upper half of the league. Three-point shooting, you can see here, might be the difference maker between these two teams is the corner three. The Liberty shoot the second most corner three attempts, and Aces corner three defense since Chelsea Gray came back 11th. So this might be their opportunity to take advantage is the corner three for the Liberty, and that's with or without Benajelani there because they got some other folks there that can shoot that corner three pretty efficiently who's also been with the squad for quite a bit of time. So as far as like chemistry and camaraderie within the lineups that they have, that shouldn't be a problem because the Liberty have been one of the more consistent teams as far as having a core stay back with them. All right, so let's go to the trends. Both teams doing really solid last 10 games, 8-2 straight up each. From a spread perspective, Liberty has been better, 7-3 overall, but home favorite situation, 3-1. As long as you can see here, hasn't been a dog in the last 10 games. This is the first leg of back-to-back games. Oh, I forgot to mention that Aces have the Sparks tomorrow. Um, right here, Aces have the Sparks tomorrow, and there's a whole bunch of off-court things with the Aces and De'Erica Hamby, so that could be also a potential look ahead or distraction for this Aces team. Um, from a total perspective, we see here 8-2 to the under in the first half. Then they pick things up in the second half. I kind of expect that here today too. With this being the second game back for the Liberty, maybe they have some energy going into the game, but there's going to be potential fatigue towards the second part of this game. So this might be a situation where the Aces take advantage in that second half. Team total, look at their offense in the first half, 9-1 to their under team total under in the first half in the last 10 games. That's with Chelsea Gray, and then 3-1 to the under as home favorites. Back first leg of back-to-back games, 1-0, but then in the second half they picked things up and they ended up going over their team total towards the end of the game. Opponent team total records here, Liberty, they're limiting opponents last 10 games, 8-2 to the under. So their defense has been really strong. Their overall, the way that I played this game, I kind of want to key in on the first half with the Liberty here. I would look towards the first half Liberty, and then also the under, the first half under. Kind of go with this trend right here, where the Aces really struggle offensively to start the game. Both offensively here, and then you can see the defense for the Liberty overall. But I expect their defense to stay true in the first half here going into this game as well. And then also just the fact that this is the first game for the Aces coming back from Paris, and they brought a whole bunch of players over there to the Olympics. So they might have to take a little bit of time to get adjusted in the first half offensively there. So if I was to bet this game, it would be Liberty first half, Liberty and Aces first half under. It might even look towards a second half bet too, and take the Aces in the second half if things go right. All right, so let's go on to the third game, the Sky and the Sparks here. Before I go into this one, if you're in the chat right now, make sure you guys drop the MLB games that you guys want to dive into. I haven't bet any MLB yet, but hopefully we can find something here today to place a bet on. But yeah, make sure you guys drop the games in the chat. If not, then I'm just gonna pick a couple random games and then call it a day. All right, so let's go with the last game here. All right, Sky Sparks. We have a baller system on the Sky, back in the Sky here. Double-digit in-season revenge for the Sparks. Both actually on the first leg of back-to-back games. The Sky have the Sun tomorrow. And then the Sparks, we talked about how they have the matchup against the Aces and how that has some off-court, impacts that could affect the outcome of the efficiency of this team today. Historic matchups, they faced each other a few months ago here. Chicago did win by 10 points. In Chicago, now they're in LA. They are 2-point favorites in this one. And we don't know yet if Kennedy Carter will be in the lineup, but I think in my opinion, I don't really think that they need her in the lineup to beat the Sparks team, because Sparks are missing, I think, all their guards. Lexi Brown is out already. I think she's already ruled out. Laisha Clarendon already ruled out as well. And I believe Ari McDonald was out in the first game out of the break, and she may be out again too. So they don't even have any guard depth at all. They just have the bigs, and that's the same strength that the Sky have. So I'm and the depth that as far as depth from a guard or wing position, the Sky have that a lot more than the Sparks do right now. And whether or not Kennedy Carter is gonna play, I don't think that really matters because if you watch the game the other day, they shot 19 3-pointers. That's one of the highest amounts that they shot all season long, and that has to do with Rachel Banham, Jefferson, all these kind of opening up the offense a little bit more, because everyone's really focusing in on Angel Reese, Cardosa, the players in the paint. So that's opening up the 3-point shots a little bit more. In Banham, she went 1 for 6. I don't expect that to happen again because she is a pretty efficient 3-point shooter. I think she shows up today offensively. I think Onyenwere, she should show up as well. I think she only made 1 3-pointer as well in that game. In that game against the Mercury, and she's a pretty efficient scorer as well. She's a previous Rookie of the Year winner in 2021, so she's a capable scorer in this league as well. And I think she picks it up against this Sparks defense, who's really struggling right now. And what I want to do is break this down to let's go back to last 10 again. All right, so if you look at last 10, Sky and the Sparks right here, both teams really struggling offensively and defensively, more so defensively on the Spark side. Pace is about the same. You can see both teams really on the effective field goal percentage, not that great. Effective field goal percentage allowed, both really struggling there. The Sparks do get to the free throw line a lot more, but look at this offensive rebound, the rebounding rates here. This is where I think the Sky really take advantage. Offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds. Even with Azare Stevens, they still have kind of struggled with that aspect. They take care of the ball pretty well. If you look over here, all on the scoring side, all reds, right on the Spark side, you can see where the Sky can take advantage. And that's going to be on second chance points and fast break transition right there. You can see both of them towards the upper half of the league in both of those pieces. And you can see the Sparks really struggling on the defensive side of the ball to defend those. First in paint attempts, we know that's where they really rely on Cardosa and Reese. They're not efficient there, right? We always talk about how they're missing all these bunnies and stuff like that, but Sparks one of the worst at defending within the paint. So this is a piece. This might be a game where they might be a little bit more efficient in the paint today. Pretty even when it comes to the mid range and then 3-point shooting. Neither team doing really well right now, but I'm really expecting the 3-point shooting to turn around here for the Sky with their new roster makeup. I know Mabry was a great 3-point shooter. But everyone knew she was a threat, so defending her was a little bit easier. I think with Banham and all these role players who can efficiently shoot the three, they're not really considered a threat at this point right now. So they're not really focusing in on them. They're really focusing in on trying to defend the paint, trying to rebound against the Chicago Sky team. That should open up the shots for the wings here, for the wings and the guards for the Sky. So I think we're gonna see more 3-point shooting from the Sky in the second part of this season, or the latter part of this season, and I think they're gonna be a little bit more efficient as well. If we look at some of the trends, Sparks at home, Sparks overall 2-8 straight up. Sky just 4-6, but as home dogs, 1-4 straight up right there. As at home in general, 1-5 in the last 10 games. If we look from a spread perspective, you can see here 6-3-1 ATS in the first half. That pops out. On the back-to-back, they actually covered their first that one game where they had on the first leg of back-to-back games. The Sky here unders, so their defense really shows up here in that first half, and then they kind of let up in the second half. 9-1 to the under. Sky team total 1-0 to the over, road favorites. 4-1 to the under as home dogs here for the Sparks in the first half. And I'll talk about that defense in this situation in the last 10 games. Opponents are 7-3 to the under, both first half and full game. You can see the Sparks defense tends to struggle in that second half there. So a lot of things really to me pointing towards the sky side with Kennedy Carter or without. I would look in their direction. They don't have the guard depth to really stay with any team right now. In my opinion, with everyone out. So I think this is going to be a slow paced, kind of physical game because I think it's going to be all about the bigs in this game right now. And then once the sky kind of start to score early in the paint, that's going to open a lot of things up for their wings and their guards. All right, so that's that game right there. Actually, that's the W right there. Um, is that official as of today? Uh, if she's gonna play today, I mean, she's still gonna be new to the offense, so I think I'm not sure how much that's gonna affect today's game, but I do think that that would be a good pickup for them. All right, so that's the W. I'll check to see if there's any MLB games pop up in the chat. Okay, so people are putting games now. Braves and Angels. Let's go there first. Braves. That's the last game of the day. Okay, Braves, Angels. Let's go to MLB. Braves, Angels. Angels heavy dogs at home here. Total at 8. We got Sale versus Canning. Braves with the matchup rating edge here, mainly from the pitching, bullpen, and starting pitcher. This is so. So LA ended up winning. So the Angels ended up winning yesterday, 3-2. Sale last 5 starts here, really strong in his last one against the Giants. Won 7 innings, 12 Ks. Only 3 hits given up. If we look at Canning, he struggled in his last one, gave up 1 home run, 4 earned runs overall. Did go 7 innings as well. I don't think we typically see him go 7 innings. No Ks or walks. That's crazy. Okay. And then if we look at the splits by starter, Sale definitely the edge here. 16-4-2 in the first 5, 15-7 on the full game. Totals. I mean, nothing that really significant that pops out, but maybe the first 5 overs here. 12-8-4 to the over, 6-3-2 to the over as home dogs in the first 5. Splits by right-handed and left-handed pitcher. Nothing really pops out here either. But the totals pop out a little bit, but they kind of cancel each other out. So Angels versus left-handed pitchers, 13-8-3 to the over, 13-9-3 to the over. Overall, Braves versus right-handed pitchers look towards the under in this situation as road favorites. 15-6-3 to the under in the first 5, 15-7-4 on the full game. So right now, things, just based off of these trends, I would look towards an Angels team total under, in my opinion. So let's go to last 30 days. Last 30 days, we'll go here. So Sale has, I mean, from a record perspective, not as great. 1-1-2, 2-2 in the last 30 days. Nothing significant anywhere else. If we look at right-handed pitchers here in the last 30 days, struggling. 5-12-4 in the first 5, 6-15 on the full game. And then the Angels here, the opposite in the first 5. 6-1-1 straight up, 2-0 as home dogs. So versus left-handed pitchers last 30 days, Angels been doing really well. So that takes me off of whatever I was looking at earlier with the Angels team total under. First 5 overs, 13-6-2 for them. That means they're giving up runs in the first 5. And this is a first 5 spot here for the Angels in the last 30 days. So, man, that's like almost the opposite of what I was talking about earlier. All right, so let's look at batting matchup here. Both kind of struggling offensively, 4.3 runs per game and 4. Braves really rely on the home run ball right now. 50 home runs in 27 games. Barrel rate and hard hit rate is really strong, but they're striking out a lot. Angels not striking out a lot. They're just not getting great contacts. not great contact or a lot of power either. They do have speed, so if they get on the bases, they can get players in scoring position. Canning is not a strikeout pitcher though, and he's giving up home runs at a pretty high rate. So this seems like a brave spot offensively. Pitching matchup, definitely an edge to Chris Sale. Some positive regression for Canning though, 6.15 ERA to 4.65 FIP. Sale 13.5 Ks per nine, definitely a strikeout pitcher. Okay, so let's go to bullpen. I mean, this was so maybe some positive regression for the Braves bullpen. Negative, definitely a lot of negative regression coming from the Angels, going from 2.72 ERA to 4.16, 4.73 xFIP. So slight edge to the Braves there. It seems like this offense can get to Canning. I mean, if they're relying on home runs to get home runs, they struggle against strikeout pitchers. Canning is not a strikeout pitcher. I would look towards. I feel like the other day we took the Braves team total under and they didn't score a run. I think today this is a Braves team total over spot or just a Braves first 5 run line, but I think that would be really juiced. Total's at 8. What is the team total for the Braves? Let's go first 5. 2.5 juice to the under. I think they can get 3 runs in that first half. I would. Yeah, I think the way that I would look would be what's the run line? 45 minus 145 minus 135. If I was to bet this game, it would be Braves first 5 run line or Braves first 5 team total over. So I gotta write these down so I can remember. Braves first 5 team total over or Braves first 5 run line. Make sure you guys drop your thoughts on the games too in the chat. All right, so let's go to the next game, Royals versus Reds. I think I got this one wrong yesterday. I was looking at the over. I don't think the Reds offense showed up at all. Reds, where is it? Kansas City Royals, Cincinnati Reds. All right, so Kansas City Royals at Cincinnati Reds. Yeah, all right, so Royals showed up. Cincinnati didn't. They just needed a couple runs to get that over the over. So rating system looks to the Reds here from a starting pitcher matchup and bullpen, but their bats continue to struggle, as you can see yesterday. Offense goes to the Royals there. And if you look at last 5 here for Michael Wacha, been pretty consistent here, 2, 2, 2, and 3 earned runs given up. Has been giving up home runs at a pretty high rate though, so 5 in the last 4 starts. Somewhat of control issues in the last 3, 2, 4, and 2 walks. He's been consistently getting up and over that 6 inning mark, touching 7-3 out of the last 5 starts. Struggled here, so took him out early, 4 2/3. If you look at Lodolo, kind of inconsistent here. You see 8 runs, you see 4 runs, but he is giving up less home runs per start. Control issues in the last 2 faced Milwaukee and Miami. Let's look at full season trends. All right, first 5 really struggling for both of these for both of these guys in the first 5 in their current situation. So Michael Wacha, 1, 4, and 2 as road dogs in the first 5. Lodolo 2, 6, and 1 in the first 5 as home favorites. 12-6 overall on the full game for Lodolo, and then split by the over under. Full game kind of trending towards the under overall, but first 5 here, look at so 11, 7, and 1 in the first 5 under for Michael Waka overall. Lodolo 7, 1, and 1 to the under in the first 5 as home favorites. Every other situation has gone over. All right, so if we look at left-handed pitchers and splits versus left and right-handed pitchers here, Royals overall struggling, but as a road dog, somehow they're 4-1 straight up and first 5 and full game. Nothing really significant here on the red side except for maybe this right here, 10, 14, and 3 in the first 5 versus right-handed pitchers as home favorites. And then totals, nothing that really pops out other than this right here. So they're getting runs in versus left-handed pitchers as road dogs specifically. Last 30 days. 30. Last 30 days, 4-1 straight up right here from Michael. Lodolo 3-2 straight up in the full game. Overs in the first 5 for Lodolo, 4-0-1 to the over. 1-4 overall versus left-handed pitchers, but still that one win over there as a road dog. First 5s here for the Reds, 9-5-4, but 1-2 as home favorites. Totals 4-1 to the over for the versus left-handed pitcher right there in the full game. So this means they're giving up runs too. First 5 overs for the Reds, but just 1-2 as home favorites. Bats offense definitely to the Royal side, 5.7 runs per game. Reds, they have a lot of power, 38 home runs in the last 25 games or last 30 days. ISO is up there even above the Royals. They're just striking out a lot, and hard hit rate is towards the bottom part of the league. Neither team really walking a bunch either. Reds, so they have a lot of speed, 34 stolen bases. If they can get on base, they can get their guys in scoring position. Starting pitcher matchup, Walker has been pretty decent, but a ton of negative regression signs here. Also, they're giving up home runs at a pretty high rate, and we just talked about how that's what the Reds really rely on. Positive regression here for Lodolo, 5.7 down to 3.77 and 3.64 xFIP. Less home runs per 9. Ground ball pitcher. Waka is sort of a ground ball pitcher, but 38.7 on the fly ball is allowing a little bit more. Okay, and then if we look at bullpen, edge to the Reds here in the bullpen. Not significantly far off, but definitely the edge to the Reds. Royals bullpen, not a strikeout. They don't strike out at a high rate, giving up home runs at a pretty decent rate. So I think the Reds offense kind of bounces back here. This is a good matchup, starting pitching matchup for them. Someone who doesn't strike out people a lot and someone who gives up home runs at a high rate. So this might be a situation where we go back on the Red side. What's the line at? It would be Reds money line or Reds team total over for me. Reds team TTO. Let me just look at a couple things here. So let's go season. All right, so what I was looking at is how the Royals do after winning on the road in the first game of the series. They tend to play pretty well, 6-2 straight up. This is all right. So this is only second time at plus money. The other time they did lose 5-0 to the Red Sox, and that was to Cutter Crawford. All right, so let's go to the Reds. Kind of look at the opposite. 4-3 straight up. 2-4, 4-2 to the under, and yeah, I don't know. Nothing really significant from a trend perspective in this current situation, but some of the stats are saying that the Reds get some offense going today. Actually, I want to see one more thing. Reds and P runs is less than or equal to 1. So if they only scored 1 run, do they bounce back? 15, 6, and 3 straight up in the first 5, and then their bullpen kind of struggles. So all right, so first 5 Reds, first 5 in the situation, really strong. 15, 6, and 3 straight up, and you can see that first 5 margin 3.29 runs versus 1.38. And they've been really strong in the last couple months here. So 1, 2, 3, 9 of the last 10 they ended up winning. They lost this one to the Rays in a pitching duel, 1-2. And look at the amount of runs that they're scoring in that situation too. 5, 11, 9, 5. I'm wondering if it's 4.5. Team total Reds 4.5. Juice 4.5 juice to the over. I would look towards Reds money line or Reds team total over in this one here. All right. Marlins and Mets. Did that already kick off? Sorry, I'm not. I didn't see 10-10. All right, so we got like 30 minutes or whatever. Let's go to that game. Where's Marlins Mets? Oh, there. Oh wait, no, that's out. Wait, what time is this game? All right, whatever. It hasn't kicked off yet. So Marlins versus Mets. We got Max Meyer versus Severino. Slight edge to the Marlins here, mainly from the bullpen perspective, and then offense to the Mets. From a schedule perspective, Mets won yesterday 7-3. Went over, and Mets definitely dominated offensively. So Max Meyer, he was a pretty highly touted prospect coming out. But he's kind of struggled here in the last 4 starts. Give up 5 home runs in his last 4 starts. You can see here earned runs given up 3, 4, 6, and 4. Had some control issues in these 3 starts, but fixed that in the last one against the Padres. Consistently giving up hits 7, 8, and 7, and just a couple of times touching that 6 inning mark. These 2 starts, he only lasted to the 4 innings. If we go to Severino, then he's giving up home runs too. 5 home runs in his last 3. He's getting lit up 6, 8, 7, 6, 8, and 6 hits. Control issues as well. Giving up at least 4 earned runs. So both of these starters giving up at least 4 earned runs in their last 3 starts. All right, so let's look at full season trends. So right now, already looking towards an over. So if we go to Meyer, 4-3 first 5 and full game. If you look at Severino, yeah, nothing really significant here. Home favorites though, 5-3-2 in the first 5, and then 6-4 on the full game for Severino. Definitely overs on Max Meyer's games. So 6-0 to the over in the first 5, 5-2 to the over the full game. Unders for the first 5 for Severino, but then 13-10 to the over for the full game. So bullpen might be struggling in those in those games. Splits here, Marlins versus right-handed pitchers. First 5, 30, 41, and 9. That's the only thing that pops out there. As road dogs, 14, 8, and 6. I'm assuming that's actually profitable though, just because they're the dogs in the situation. All right, so if we look at totals, Overs in the full game, 48, 30, and 2 overall versus right-handed pitchers. As road dogs, though, 17, 20, and 1. Slight edge to the over for the Mets here in their situation, too. So right now, still pointing towards, I would think, full game over for now. We'll look at the stats. Last 30 days. 4-0 to the over, 3-1. Meyer, he's giving up runs in his starts here. That's what it's telling me. Marlins first 5 overs, 14-4 to the over, 11-6-1 to the over full game, 7-2 first 5. As home favorites versus right-handed pitchers last 30 days, 5-2-1 first 5, 7-1 on the full game. So still overs overall. Let's look at the batting matchup. 4.5 runs per game for each of these teams. 35 home runs, 32. So both teams pretty decent at with the power. Both averaging pretty close to the same amount. The Marlins though definitely have the speed advantage here. 39 steals. Both teams really striking out. Marlins striking out at a high rate. Mets also striking out at a high rate, but not as much. Hard hit rate definitely to the Mets here. Barrel rate not that strong. If they get contact, seems like they're gonna hit those home runs. All right, so let's look at the starting pitcher matchup. I'm already seeing red right here. Both giving up home runs at a high rate. Both really struggling right now, but some positive regression on their advanced numbers right there. Max Meyer, definitely not a strikeout pitcher at this point right now, but Severino is 10.5 Ks per 9. Bullpens are pretty strong with the Ks, and they don't give up home runs at a high rate either. Some positive regression for the Marlins. Mets bullpen has been pretty good too the last 30 days. This seems like another first 5 game, and it would be a first 5 over. Marlins, Mets, first 5 over. Did this hit yesterday? I think we took the same bet yesterday. Marlins, Mets, first 5 over. I actually think we talked about this game yesterday. I want to see, did it hit yesterday? Marlins, Mets. Yeah, Marlins, Mets first 5 over. That one hit yesterday too. So going back to that one, different pitchers. Same result. All right, so let's go to the next game. Arizona, Tampa Bay. All right, Arizona, Tampa Bay. Arizona, Tampa Bay. All right, so we have Diamondbacks, a slight road favorites here. Gallen versus Springs, righty versus lefty. Slight edge, not slight edge, but edge to the Diamondbacks here, mainly from the offensive perspective. A couple of situational notes. So yesterday was a walk-off. All right, so Rays won on a walk-off fashion yesterday, 5-4. Last 5 starts for Gallen. Coming off a really good one, just 1 earned run given up, but he only went 4 1/3 in this last start. Prior to that, kind of struggled here against Cleveland. Springs, pretty good start here. 1 home run given up. That was the only run he gave up. 5 innings pitched, 8 Ks, no walks, but consistent with the number of hits he's given up. And he doesn't. It's not like he gets too far. Looks like 5 is his max in his last 3 starts. Giving up 4 home runs though. Giving up 4 home runs. All right, so let's look at full season trends real quick. Gallen, first 5, 11-6-3, 12-8 on the full game. Look at Springs in the first 5, 0-3 in the first 5, and it probably has to do with those home runs he's been giving up. 2-1 to the over. Nothing really significant that pops out there, but let's look at splits versus lefty and righty. So first 5 versus left-handed pitchers, pretty decent, 20, 16, and 8, but as road favorites, just 2 and 4. Rays versus right-handed pitchers really struggling in this spot right here in the first 5. So right off the bat, looking for Diamondbacks first 5. 26, 49, and 15 overall on the season as home dogs specifically. 1, 12, and 2. Their offense really struggling in that spot in the first 5. All right, so splits, total splits, overs versus left-handed pitchers, 25, 16, and 3, 26, and 18 on the full game. Unders in the first 5 for the Rays here, 50, 32, and 6 to the under overall. All right, so let's look at last 30 days. Gallen 5-0 straight up. Springs, obviously, his 3 starts in the last 30 days, still the same. Versus right-handed pitchers, 5-13, 0-5 straight up. So still struggling in that situation. Diamondbacks first 5, 5-4-2 in the last 30 days, 0-1 as a road favorite, 8-3 in the full game. Overs still here for the Diamondbacks versus lefties, and then unders for the Rays. Let's look at. I keep skipping run lines and Yerfy Nerfies. If you guys want to see those, let me know. But I just I tend to not bet Yerfy Nerfies. But if you guys want me to go through those, just put that in the chat. All right. So last 30 days, offensively, Diamondbacks definitely the edge there by a huge margin. 6.4 runs per game versus 3.7. A lot of power there. Decent amount of speed. Rays have a lot of speed, 42 steals. Rays striking out at a high rate. Gallen, not so much a strikeout pitcher the last 30 days, 7.31 Ks per 9. Springs a little bit better. If we look at some of the advanced numbers, Zach Gallen pretty consistent here, but I don't expect this number to continue to stay the same. At some point, I think he's gonna give up a home run. Is it gonna be against the Rays? No, I don't think so. Because look at their barrel rate, hard hit rate. They're striking out at a high rate, so contact is pretty hard for this Rays team right now. Average is just 215. So definitely don't expect too many home runs from the Rays in this start versus Gallen. Springs 4.61 ERA, 6.03 FIP. Huge advantage there. So bullpen matchup, both really strong. So we're gonna take away the bullpen. We're gonna stick to the first 5, and we talked about first 5 yesterday with Munaf and how those have been going really well. So I think we stick with that first 5 situation here and go with the Diamondbacks in the first 5. First 5 money line for the Diamondbacks. All right, what time is it? Fuck. All right, so I got time for one more game here. No, you're good, dude. I'm late, so like I actually scheduled this for 7:00, and I started at 9. So I mean, you're not the only one that's late, so you're good. Yes, please. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you guys can. Definitely helps me out. All right, so one more game here. Yankees game was the next one up. Yankees. All right, Yankees. That's it. Yankees. Tigers. Tigers heavy home dogs here. Total at 8.5. Rodon versus Montero. Big edge to the Yankees on the rating system there. Yankees only won 3-0 yesterday. So low scoring game there. Last 5 starts. Oh, these must have not happened. These probably canceled. So the database still has these in there, but the games didn't happen. So we go to, I mean, his last start was pretty solid against the Rangers. 0 runs given up. The prior 2 starts did give up 3 home runs combined, but still not a lot of earned runs. Control definitely an issue. 5 walks in the last one. If we go to Montero, he's been consistently giving up runs, a lot of home runs as well. 1.4 runs per home runs in the last 5 starts. 5, 6, 7. And that's 7 home runs in the last 5 starts. All right, so definitely an event. This is a spot that the Yankees should be able to take advantage. All right, let's look at full season. Batting matchup here: 5.1 runs per game versus 4.2. So edge to my bad. Going to the trends. 13-8-2 in the first 5, 15-8 on the full game. As road favorites, 7-3-1, 7-3 on the full game. Overs for both of these starters. Rodon 14-7-1 in the first 5 to the over, 15-7-1 on the full game. Even better as road favorites, 8-2 to the over, and then on the season for Montero, 6-1-1 to the over, 6-2 to the over for the full game. Versus right and left-handed pitchers, Yankees pretty strong overall on the season, 53, 31, and 9 on the first 5, 60 and 33 on the full game. Road favorites pretty much the same in the first 5, pretty close win percentage on the first 5, but full game comes down just a little bit, 19 and 13. First 5 versus left-handed pitchers, they've been pretty strong there, 11, 7, and 4. And then as home dogs, 3-1 first 5 and the full game. Overs continue to be a trend for the Yankees versus right-handed pitchers. Nothing significant that pops out here versus the Tigers. All right, so let's look at last 30. Last 30. So 4-0 straight up, full game, first 5. Overs all over the place here. Yankees versus right-handed pitchers, 12-6 to the over, 4-1 to the over first as road favorites. Overs continues to be a thing here versus right-handed pitchers last 30 days, but just 3-2 to the under in the first 5. So it comes down a little bit as road favorites specifically. Yerfes 3-1, 3-1. Run line 4-0, but Montero's 3-1. Bats definitely the edge to the Yankees, 5.8 runs per game compared to 3.8. Everything in their advantage as far as like power, Ks, walks, barrel, hard hit rate. Their Tigers are striking out at a high rate, and Rodon 11.47 Ks per 9. This seems like a run line type of thing. It could either. What's the bullpen? This would be a first 5 run line. What would that be actually? First 5 run line Yankees minus 155, minus 160. Damn. All right, so if you don't want to lay that, let's keep going real quick. I think there's different ways to take care of that. So we have Rodon 2.22 run ERA, but a 4 FIP, 4.11 xFIP. So some room for negative regression here. Uh, 1.48 home runs per 9. Montero. So the problem is he's a fly ball pitcher, gives up home runs. It's just Tigers, they don't possess a lot of power. 35.3 hard hit rate. And they strike out a lot. All right, so if we look at Montero's side, 6.04 ERA, 5.75 FIP, giving up home runs at a high rate. Not a strikeout pitcher either. This would be a... And then we'll go to the bullpen. Pretty solid for the Tigers here. Yankees kind of struggling. But you see here, they're not striking out at a high rate, and they're also giving up home runs, 1.33 home runs per 9. Some slight room for negative regression as well. So if they see an offense that doesn't match with them, they're going to give it up. Let's go to the run line here. What's the run line? It's still kind of juiced, dude. What's their team total? 5.5. I think this is a team total over. Detroit's offense really struggling. They had, oh, I remember this game, 15 runs. Other than this, man, they're struggling offensively. I don't think we could really rely on an over game, um, a full game over. I think we key in on the Yankees team total over. If you don't mind laying the juice, though, I think that first 5 run line makes the most sense. Um, in my opinion, first 5 run line. Uh, to be honest, I don't like this game at all. But if I was to give a lean, it would be Yankees team total over for the first 5 run line. I know it's juice, but it just seems like the spot right here. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the game here. You think? I don't know if you guys hear my kids out there singing. Just 1 second. Stop sharing my screen. All right, so that's the end of the show today. Went through the W, went through a lot of games in the MLB as well. I'm sorry, guys, that you guys are in the chat here dropping comments, but it's kind of hard to break games down and look at the chat at the same time. So I'm just gonna go back and look at some stuff real quick. Diamondbacks, I think we agreed on that one. I was looking at the first 5, not the full game. Yankees run line, it makes sense to me. Still really juiced though. But I can only look towards the Yankees in this one. Yankees over 9. I don't know. Like I was saying, I don't know if I could rely on the Tigers offense to help with that. So I would focus in on, if you like a over, I would focus in on the Yankees team total specifically. All right, so I'm adjusting, giving out some prop plays here. Man, if you're in the Money Baller Discord, drop your plays there. So people can start to track, or if people want to start following you, they can find stuff. A's plus 108. Okay. I saw some nice CLV there for you there. What up, YBB? Luke that's my boy. Luke Ridnour. Bring back the Sonics. Okay, so that's it. That's the W. That's the MLB slate. Before we move on to the top looks, gotta talk about the moneyballer.com, the site that we use primarily today. You see all the insights that we have, situational notes. We have like baller systems that are pretty much like profitable systems that we've tracked over at least 5 years, have a decent sample size. And then we have our models and rating system. So our models for the WNBA, you can see the percentages. If you have baller access, you'll see the percentages, kind of a breakdown of how we expect the game to go. Based on some of the numbers. So it doesn't account for like injuries and other like non-statistical things. So you have to make sure you account for that. So even myself, as someone who's part of the website, I don't blindly tail the rating system or the model. I use the full page, just like how we break it down here on the show. You got to look at everything. You got to be a balanced handicapper, not just blindly back trends and stuff like that. It's like sorry about that. If I was to like blindly back trends, I would probably take the Mystics first half. I would probably bet that today, but I didn't. There's a whole bunch of other things to think about. So make sure when you handicap games, you don't go off of one thing. You got to look at a whole bunch of stuff and make sure everything makes sense. And then NFL is on the way. We have the beta page up. We have our trends and stats from last season for people to kind of do their pre-work. And then obviously we want to bring in more stats and stuff like that. And then we also want to bring in some prop numbers, player prop level stats. But if you're in our Discord, we have some bots. We're partnered with a couple other companies that provide player level props in our Discord. So make sure you guys go there, themoneyballer.com/Discord. And real quick, someone kept someone was DMing me asking about the difference between basic and baller. I'm not here to upsell you guys, right? If you're a handicapper that's been doing this for a long time and all you really want is the stats and trends to be there for you a lot quicker, a lot easier for you to use, all you need is the basic access. That's $20 a month. If you want more hand holding, we have like our baller glossary that gives you hints on how to use the stats, define the stats. You want the models, the rating systems. You want the extra content that kind of breaks things down for you on the exclusive, the baller exclusive channel. That's if you need more hand holding, that's baller access. Um, so that's $50 a month, I believe. And then I think if you want to just try it out 7 days, that's also an option too, just to see which one you want to try. But those are the options available for themoneyballer.com. And the Discord is free. So if you just want to go to Discord and just handicap games with us there, themoneyballer.com/Discord. All right, so top looks. Boom. All right, so we talked about WNBA. Oh, shit. WNBA. WNBA, we talked about leaning towards the under, I believe it was. I already forgot what I wrote down. I didn't start writing down until MLB. I think it was the under that we talked about. I kind of want to. I'm staying away from this game completely just because the back-to-back situation. I know a lot of people are going to probably take the Mystics first half. Can't talk you off, but oh, now I remember. I think it was first half under. Lynx Mystics first half under was the lean there. Liberty Aces. I was looking towards the Liberty first half and Liberty Aces under first half, and then full game I was looking towards the Sky. Baseball, we talked about Braves first 5 team total over, first 5 run line. Sorry, just looking some stuff up real quick. Okay, and then Reds money line, Reds team total over. Marlins, Mets first 5 over. Diamondbacks first 5 money line. Yankees team total over or first 5 run line. So I for sure. So looking at top plays or top looks, I'm probably not gonna pick the Yankees one just because first 5.5 is a lot for the team total. I mean, I don't doubt that they hit it, but first 5 seems like a lot, and then the first 5 run line is pretty juiced. So that wouldn't be a top look there. Braves first 5 team total over or Braves first 5 run line is pretty solid. Reds money line, Reds team total over was solid. I think so. Marlins Mets first 5 over was really good, and that one hit pretty easily yesterday. I think that one looked the most promising out of all the other ones. Diamondbacks first 5 money line was pretty good too. I don't know. Out of all the baseball games, I think as long as the Yankees one was the worst one, and then all the other ones I liked pretty much evenly. And then for the WNBA, the top play for the WNBA, I would say. So I can't give. I'll say this. I gave out the top play of the day over at Wager Talk, and I don't want people actually bought it already, so I don't want to give that out. So I'll give my second best look, and my second best look would be. Dang, this one's hard. All right, so my second best look would be. Aces Liberty first half under. That would be the WNBA top look. All right, so that's it, guys. That's the end of the show. I appreciate you for coming in today on a weekend, early morning, and spend like an hour with me here. I do want to make sure you guys, check out the descriptions. What up, Jay? What up, Jay? How you feeling, dude? I know I woke up late too. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, if you guys like the show, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, share the show with your friends. We do things a little bit differently on this show. I mean, I always say it's not really a pick site. It's more about the process, right? We go through the breakdowns and all that stuff. If the picks hit, definitely good for us. But these are the things that I talk about on the show is really to go through the process, the stats I look at, and not everyone has to do it the same way, but it's just a give you an insight of what I do. And I've been pretty profitable on the year. I mean, historically, and that's why I do what I do. And WNBA has been even greater this season. I mean, yesterday we went 3-0. People was talking shit after I lost the first day back from the Olympics, but we come back 3-0. Those guys are no longer on my timeline, right? And then on the season, right prior to the Olympic break, we hit 17 WNBA plays in a row. I mean, this is what we do, right? And the moneyballer.com is what we use to handicap the games. So it just goes to show that that works. My process works. Doesn't mean that your process doesn't. Maybe you are winning too, but we just share information on here. For the most part, people might miss stuff that they missed in their handicapping process, and that's kind of my goal with Let's Cap. It's literally for us to do this together. Let's cap together, and win together. And it just sucks that people want to go in and watch people lose. Um, but hopefully that doesn't happen often for us. So everybody, I appreciate everybody that shows up to my show and shows support. And if you can, man, like I said, share the show. That would be greatly appreciated. Even just commenting after the show too. That helps with the algo to get my show out there a little bit more. With that said, guys, I always have to end the show like this. Whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time, peace.